Hi, this is Rahman Sheikh. Welcome to Fortnightly Railway Transportation Systems podcast. I am the host and railway systems specialist working in this industry for 24 years and counting. This podcast is primarily focused on railway experts who have vast amount of experience and contributed greatly to this amazing industry. This is not a technical seminar but focuses on feel good stories, individual journeys, their success and failures, motivating younger generation to kickstart their career in railways and creating a sense of pride for the railway people who devoted their lives on the most environment friendly public transportation. Our guest for this fortnight is Alana Newbrook, CEO and Managing Director of Systra ANZ. Alana started her professional career in 2002 as a graduate engineer in Caltex Australia and later worked as project manager in Morre Consulting and Engineering, where she is responsible for designing solutions for clients in petrochemical industry. In 2007, Alana joined in WSP as a project manager and later worked in various roles like project controls manager, project services executive director, and regional director. Alana, as an engineer, loved working in infrastructure on major projects with big impacts. She has over 20 years experience working across transport, defense, water, mining, oil and gas, power and environment. Alana is passionate about STEM skills and providing access to everyone for a fulfilling career in engineering and consulting. Alana is a fellow of Engineers Australia and chartered professional engineer and engineering executive. She is also a graduate of the Australian Institute of Company Directors. Hi Alana, welcome to Railway Transportation Systems podcast.
Hi, thank you very much for a lovely introduction.
Yeah, of course, you have a great career. Alana, my generic question, can you introduce yourself and tell us your professional story, which is not covered in LinkedIn and my readout?
And you've covered a lot of it there, so no, thank you. And look, so started out, really loved mathematics as a kid and also really liked English literature. Many people don't know that one about me. And I just knew I wanted to go to university, but never really thought about engineering, to be honest, until I went to one of the open days and one of the lecturers I met there said, hey, you've got a good scores in maths, you should look at engineering. So I think I changed my preferences literally just before midnight, the cutoff, and decided, hey, I'm going to do chemical engineering, despite not having done chemistry at school either. I tell that story because I kind of accidentally fell into engineering, and it's been the best accident I've made, and hence why I'm also very passionate around trying to encourage people to consider a career in engineering in the future. I said there as well, I chose chemical engineering because at the time the lecturer also said, you should do chemical engineering. You know, most women do that one. It's 50-50 male and female. All the rest are very male dominated. And so I thought, I don't want to do the other ones. I'll do chemical engineering. So again, it's funny, even, 20 plus years later, how things have changed, but maybe also haven't really changed enough. So yeah, look, engineering for me has been a wonderful career that's opened doors continually along the way. I think it's a really strong foundational degree that has enabled me to take lots of different journeys in my career. As you said, I did start out in more of petrochemical at the Caltex refinery at Kurnell, which isn't even there anymore, and quickly realised that I loved a bit more of the bigger picture complexity of major projects and how infrastructure came together. So I realised I did, whilst I was, doing a lot of fluid flow and Bernoulli's equation and thermodynamics, I realised I did like to look at things a bit bigger and more holistically, which I'm sure we'll get into over this podcast, is probably where that's been a bit of the guide of what's followed me throughout the journey of my career. And yeah, I'm naturally inquisitive about all things. And so, but yeah, the solid foundation of engineering has allowed me to pursue everything that I've been interested in.
Very academic. Alana, one quick question on your professional story. Many people think that what they have studied in their academics and what they do are very different. By the sounds, what you just told me, it looks like you have actually used your academics in your professional career. Did it help?
It did. Look, as I said, to start with, I did an engineering degree and I did a Bachelor of Arts degree. So I do have a English literature major, which I probably use less of that. But no, for the chemical engineering, I started out doing a lot of pure chemical engineering. I've pivoted with the technical experience I've had. So that allowed me to get into fuels. From fuels, I jumped into aviation. That then led me to get exposure to doing fuel facilities on defense for the defense client, and then working on defense sites at some of the RAF bases, upgrading their fuel facilities and their runways and all that. That then gave me exposure to bigger infrastructure, because not only you weren't just, putting in a new runway, you had to integrate that with new buildings, new bases, new how everything moved, new roads, new civils. So that then led me to think, I wouldn't mind getting into and trying some different sectors. I was fortuitous at the time that then the mining sector was booming. So I used my chemical knowledge to pivot into mining, and then, did a lot of all that.
All your equations came into application?
Yeah, it did. And then I pivoted that in mining. And then from mining, I got a broader understanding of the mine infrastructure area and a lot more about water, sewage treatment plants. That got me inquisitive into the water industry. Then you start to throw energy in. Finally, what brings it all together is the transportation. So I guess I have sort of kept pivoting, but using that base along the way and then adding in qualifications as I go, because I'm a sucker for studying.
Great academics and great professional career. 20 years later, fast forward to the current date, straight to your current role.
Yes.
What are some of the biggest challenges you have faced as a CEO, and how did you overcome them?
Yes, I sometimes have to look back at where I am now and I have to pinch myself and I think, I don't know, how have I done it all, to be honest? Look, I think, there's always challenges. You realize as you're getting on into this part of my career now, it's not the technical elements that are the challenges, it's the people elements. And so I think that's that real difference around, leadership, because, you can be on big projects, you can manage the stress, the complexities, the stakeholders, you're trying to get different solutions. That of course is all very challenging. The big challenge is then now I'm realizing is looking at the people that have helped my career and who I've really loved working for and following, and then feeling a sense of responsibility as to how can I be that now to others. And leading Systra in Australia and New Zealand, I'm very conscious of, I guess, starting to move forward to making sure you give that back for people. But it is a challenge making people want to follow you and come on the journey. And you do realize sometimes you've got to make hard decisions when people aren't fully on the boat or they're not fully behind you. Sometimes to, get to it for the benefit of the team. Sometimes you do have to have those harder discussions with people. And I think the whole people and cultural element and organizational change, I probably would have scoffed at that in my younger years as like, that's not engineering, that's not technical. What is that of use? But now I realize I can't do anything without any of that. So come full circle.
Listening to you bring two things together: gratitude and giveaway. And that's the reason why you are where you are today.
I hope so. I'm just going to stay here.
Alana, the next question, you in a senior leadership role and as a business leader, as you just said, what is your leadership philosophy and how do you inspire and motivate your team?
Yeah, great question. I think for me, probably, I think being honest and transparent and being my own version of a leader. I've learnt early on that I am who I am, and I'm not necessarily going to be like what I would have thought as a good leader, 20 years ago might have been that archetype, male, dominant, knows what they want, bangs the table, sets some direction. I realize I can't fake that. That's not me. And trying to be that isn't authentic. So for me, look, I'm just open and honest. And I say to my team around me as well, I'm always happy to change my mind. If that you come with a a better argument. We're giving things a crack. We've got an ambitious growth agenda at Systra. So of course we're going to make mistakes. I hold people to account, but it's in a safe to fail environment as well. And so I think my leadership philosophy in that sense is, just to treat people how I'd like to be treated. I think it's important to give people a clear direction of where you're headed, because you don't want to come across as a bit of a flip-flop leader either that doesn't quite know where they're going. So I want to inspire that confidence, but also at the same time, ask for help when you need to, and surround yourself with people that, supplement and complement my knowledge areas. So I think learning that and around building that team around you where you're all sort of in it together and you're motivated to go a bit more above and beyond, and celebrating success is really, that's when it feels special and you're really kind of getting stuff done, and that's the rewarding part.
Well, empathy. I think
Yes.
what all I hear is empathy, and listening to you, I feel as if I'm reading one of the self-help book, and probably my listeners would be really inspired hearing to you.
Well, I've read enough of them myself. So. But I probably wear my heart on my sleeve. So
Most people, look up to leaders like you. Can you tell us what are some of those most valuable lessons you have learned throughout your career that have shaped your approach as a CEO?
yeah, again, look, working with good people is really important. I think we spend so much time at work, and I've worked in roles and on projects where you're really working with a bunch of people that are giving it their all every day and trying their best, and and you trust each other, and you're doing hard work that might be new and cutting edge, but you're getting there and you're giving it a go. That's where it feels great. I've also worked on the flip side where I've been micromanaged or underestimated or not given accountability or not trusted, or you've been in those places where it's not fun to work with, and you very quickly realize that's not what's going to motivate people, and that's not enjoyable. So for me, it's working with good people, and, you want to come to work and be excited and, and feel like you're contributing and that your skills and what you bring is valued, and you can, extend yourself. I had a really good mentor, and I've had quite a few in my career. So that would be another good tip, is having someone that you can bounce ideas off. But another mentor along the way once said too, it's really important for yourself and then for your people that you kind of constantly stretch them all the time, and just enough. You don't want to stretch someone where it's uncomfortable and they can't do that. But how do you look to continually just work on the slight boundary of uncomfortableness to really keep pushing forward? So it's that balance too of, getting people around you where you're pushing them, but pushing them just enough. You don't want to stress people out, obviously. And then, I think celebrating that success. So look, I think in terms of, that's been some of the lessons really, is around working with good people. The other thing I've learned as I've shifted my role from a project-based role to more leading an organization is that, sometimes I have to slow down to go fast, if you know what I mean, because projects can be fast-paced. I like working in change. I like uncertainty. I like to move quickly. And I've also realized and had it pointed out to me, which is sometimes uncomfortable to hear, but at the same time, you've got to listen and adapt. That, watch out how fast you're going, Alana, because you risk, turning around and no one's behind you, like they haven't caught up. So I think it's also being a bit more conscious of pace and how I communicate. And communication is just so key. I reckon 90% of the issues I deal with on a day-to-day basis probably have the heart of the matter. It's probably a communication issue gone wrong, to be honest.
Yeah, great insights, Alana. Great insights. The couple of things which you mentioned, the hardships of working with tough people, really sad to hear, but actually they help you, I believe, to grow up what you are today. And you don't want that to happen to the people who work under you. I think
exactly.
the person who work for you are really good. You are like an umbrella and not just throwing away the responsibilities.
Yeah, and you do have to protect people. And look, for the most part, I've always had great working environments. I think, if it hasn't been good, I back myself, and I would encourage your listeners to as well, back yourself that you can do better and find a better job and get out of there.
Thanks, Alana. Coming back to my favorite industry, which is railway or transportation. So I want to ask one specific question about this industry.
Yeah.
As I read out, you have worked in lots of industries like defense, water, mining, oil and gas, power and environment. What made you to move to transportation, and what is unique about our industry?
Oh, there's so much there. Look, as I said, through the thread of my career, there's always been some element of transportation. I've realized either, whether it be aviation or when you are building some new infrastructure or even on a mine, there's roads, there's access. So everything from people to goods to logistics has some kind of transportation element. I think for me, I really started to fall in love with the transport industry. Firstly, I did a road project, which was one of my first ones working on a construction site for I spent about 2 years. And that was just like such a fast track way for me to learn and understand and building bridges and viaducts. And, it was just wonderful. And again, a great team and a wonderful culture in an alliance. And then I moved into rail, and I think it was the first version of Sydney Metro. And I will tell you, I'll have a soft spot for that one because I met my husband on that project. So rail definitely from a personal and professional perspective. And then I just realized, public transportation in particular and the rail industry, it's just a wonderful industry full of passionate people. It has so much to offer, from real deep technical expertise and then also to the more holistic strategic, economic benefits of when you are putting in rail and these networks, how it can uplift and change communities and, bring people closer to jobs and hospitals and education. So it really offers and touches on everything, and it's globally relevant. Like, I love working at Systra, and we say we've designed or been a part of, 50% of the world's mass transit and rail projects. And everyone's so proud about that, and it's just a wonderful thing. And you think of all the different communities that it's been helping. We do a lot of work in India and, Canada and Australia, France, of course, high speed in the UK. It is changing lives and how communities operate. And I think in the future too, it's huge benefit and a huge role to play in our transition to net zero. And that's exciting. And I love that, people would think of it initially as, it's just a railway or a rail line or a train. It does have so much more, and it's fascinating for me to continue to explore those layers and work with, some brilliant technical minds around this stuff. So I'm continually learning as well. It's a wonderful industry.
Thank you, Alana. Thank you. It's a huge honor. You respect the transportation industry, and thank you for the leadership which you bring in. And you know what? Because you worked in so many other industries, it actually helps transportation to put those lessons learned and experience into the transportation. Back to your role specific question.
Yes.
I want to ask, how do you approach partnerships and collaborations with other companies or organizations to drive mutual growth and success? Because there's so much of competition nowadays. How do you do this?
And it's critical to our success, but definitely we look at values first and foremost as a key priority. So when we're looking for people we want to partner with, we really do look at the businesses who are, ethical, diverse, share similar philosophies to us at Systra and to our people. And I think that technical excellence. So we don't want to compete with our partners. It's around looking for people that complement us and where we can work together and really knit the solutions together and come together as a team. And that gives so much back for our people, for our clients, and then, the end client and the communities that we're serving in. So look, I think, again, there's many different companies out there and everyone has different philosophies and different ways of working. We're pretty, as I said, open, honest. We just want to do great work and be technically excellent and bring bring the global best of Systra to our local clients. So whoever allows us to, ramp that up and facilitate that, we do. And we do have some great partners. We do a lot of work, say, with Becca in New Zealand. They're wonderful. We're just, no one's trying to cut each other's grass. We're very, help each other out. It's becoming a really nice partnership in how we work together, for example. And where it's just nice and complementary.
Being a technical person, I don't think I get 100% of this business thing. But what I picked one thing from your talk is to our people. So even in that external collaboration, you focused to your people, that is the people who work for Systra. How do you help the people who work in Systra, like from graduate all the way to the senior engineer or a senior leadership person? How do you help your own people?
Oh, it's a continually very important role of mine these days. We've put a lot of emphasis in the graduate program. I've built up and probably tripled our people and culture team to help really target that and help with career paths, career planning for the staff. But I always personally meet with all the graduates when they come in and have checkpoints with them through the year. Recently started a Mirror Board, which is sort of a group of people, probably like 5+ years experience, so just postgraduates who I bring in and I give them, it's sort of like a mirror reflection of leadership. So I tell them some of my CEO challenges or strategic issues, and then they come back with ideas from the floor, and it's a really nice open kind of conversation to give them some exposure to more general management leadership queries, but then also for me to stay relevant and understand the voice of the younger staff. Mid-level careers, we try and support people with mentoring, coaching, exec coaching, technical support, pairing them up. And then I guess more of the executive leadership level, we do look to support people through, if they want to do additional education or, again, coaching, mentoring, whichever. I guess it's not a one size fits all, but we do try very hard to meet lots of different people at their career touch points and encourage them to get involved and provide different mechanisms to do that. I like to think we're not too big yet. I still know everyone by name at Systra, so that's also a positive. Anyone can come and talk to me, and they definitely do.
I know lots of people, and I'm not surprised why people stay for such a long with Systra. People like Helen, PH, Pedro, Gaurino, they love working with Systra.
Well, we love them there too.
So for the people who want to grow or follow your footsteps to achieve the success as you did, can you tell us what is that one thing which you follow religiously in your daily routine and do not miss it?
It's probably getting out in the morning. I am a bit of a sucker for running and exercise. There's quite a few people at Systra that do like the running. There's a few marathoners and half marathoners around. But no, for me, it is just part of my sanity. I've got a group of friends and we get out and have a run, and they're from all different industries, totally different walks of life. And for me, having that bit of time early in the day, I get up around 5 a.m, so nice and early. Just before the day breaks, do my own thing and exercise, clear my head. Once I've done that, I feel like I can tackle anything. So that has been definitely something, particularly post-COVID, I think you appreciate a lot more now. So that chance to get out in the fresh air and have a run. So that's very important. And at the other end, sleep. I do like to make sure I get a good, decent amount of sleep each night. I'm not one of those people that can function on 3 hours of sleep. So
exercise and sleep are the two pillars of your success. I'm going to follow that.
Not on my daily routine, definitely not on my success. I think the pillars of my success otherwise is, I think for me it's continually learning and asking questions and being inquisitive. I think if I was that's giving you more of my personal sanity, what I need each day. But from a career success, I think, I never think you can't do anything. There's so many people that, say, I can't go for that role. I don't have the experience, or maybe I'll do this, but I'm not quite sure. I think give everything a try and, ask for feedback, and definitely just having a can-do attitude that, you can give anything a crack and put yourself out there, and being honest. I guess that's my philosophy each day is turn up, do your best, and no one's going to judge you, I would hope, for at least showing up and having a go. So,
Well, thanks, Alana.
yeah,
In a recent TED talk, what I heard is 90% of women do not apply for a
yeah,
job which do not match 90% of what they do. And
yeah,
what I just heard you said that can't do that thing, not sure. Try, feedback.
yeah,
That's the reason why you
yeah,
are a CEO of Systra.
yeah,
I can tell that. You're
yeah.
very, very different.
Well, and that's, I think, you just got to give it a go. And look, people will tell you if you're not the right fit, or most of the time, to be honest, we always have our own self doubt. But if you really are interested, what I've always done is, look at people who are in roles that I would have always coveted or thought that looks like a great role. I'd love to be in that. And I've asked and I've said, do you mind if I take you for a coffee? I'd love to hear how you got where you are. And, I've never had someone knock me back from buying them a coffee and giving me a bit of advice. And likewise, if anyone ever asked me, I would make sure I always said yes. And just then go, okay, I could maybe do that, or, this is what I need to practice a bit more. And then, have a go.
Ah,
Nothing, no harm. Life's too short not to have a go.
Thanks, Elena. Probably I would offer you a virtual coffee. Can you please tell me and my listeners your one piece of advice?
Oh, okay. Well, I think, again, just building on that really is, have a go. Don't think you can't do anything, and just be your true self each day. Show up. I always like to, when I show up, put in 100% effort and, give it a go. Make sure you back yourself, because if you don't back yourself, who else will? So you've got to believe in yourself. And I guess for me too, it's continually learning, because it's an interest. I listen to a lot of different podcasts, including this one.
Thank you.
But, just staying relevant and learning as well does help. And I think I've always been in the consulting industry as well. So networks is key. So I think also, which is why it's very nice to treat others as you'd like to be treated yourself. And keep a good network of people around you.
Sure. Thanks for your great insights and advice. I
It
will
was like 5 pieces of advice there.
Yeah. I think most of the advices which you said, we generally people either hear or listen or read somewhere. But one thing which I found really hard, or which I personally observed in networking, even though people make that courage to go and attend that networking functions, I have seen people standing away in silo and really struggle communicate. Or how can we fix that, please?
Or worst case, you can just sort of sidle up to like the food bar or the coffee cart, or start to strike up a conversation in the line with someone. If I see someone really by themselves or standing to the periphery of a conversation, I'll make sure I kind of bring them in. Small talk is always easy to open up about, the weather. But I think you've just got to, sidle up to people, and people will generally sort of include you or in those conversations. And, you're there because you've got an interest in what's being discussed, or you have an interest in learning. So, ask questions. Don't be shy. Everyone's at those events because they are there to talk. So no one's going to shut you down.
Thank you, Elena. Great insights. Thank you for your time and joining our podcast and sharing your knowledge and wisdom.
Oh, thank you. It's been an absolute pleasure. Anytime.
I believe everyone listening to this podcast has got something to take away from today's discussion. If you like this podcast, please listen, follow, and share this podcast within your network. If you believe we should be sharing your story, or someone within your network, there is a railway leader who should be here sharing his or her contribution to this industry, contact me on railwaytransportationsystems@gmail.com. Thank you for your time today. See you next fortnight. Until then, stay safe and take care of yourself.